So we are going to learn three schema architecture. Exam point of view, very, very important question. Um, they will ask you for 5 marks to explain three schema architecture. Now, why DBMS created three different bifurcations in this architecture, or three different levels in this architecture. The main intention is to support multiple views of the data. Same data, because many different types of users use the data from the DBMS, and hence for everybody, the data of their interest should be shown. Fine, depending on their level and their requirement. So to fulfill this requirement, three schema architecture was proposed by, it was followed by database management system software. All the software follow this. Another very important advantage it gives is program data independence. Program data independence in the sense, at three different levels, you have three different things stored. So to give you rough idea about what are the three different levels, last time I had already told you, but still, this is the internal level, this is the conceptual level, and this is the external level. Now this external level is very close to the users. Whenever user will see, they will see at this external level. So this external level is useful, or it will have the things which should be visualized by the user who may not be technically skilled, or the person who doesn't know Oracle or database management system software. Even he should be easily able to use this interface. Examples is any user, like maybe your parents who do online shopping, your mother uses WhatsApp. So even though they are not programmers, but still they'll be able to use. So this external view fulfills their requirement. So they need not worry about what programs are written, what SQL statements are generated, or what are the data structures in which the data is getting stored. So these things they are unaware about. So this is the external view. Now the middle level view, it is about for the database designers. So database designers will know how many tables are prepared, what is the relationship between them, what are the rules, that is constraints used, how many fields are prepared, what is the data type we have used, what is the size we have used. So all this is defined at this middle level, which is called as conceptual level. Fine. And then the inner level, which is also internal level, which is also called as a physical. It follows a physical data model. So this internal level defines the storage structures for your data. So even database programmers will be unaware about this. Normally nowadays, most of the times, your database management system handles this itself. So system itself handles this data storage related things. Any programmer need not look into the memory and arrange the data to save the memory space, etc. It will be automatically done. So these are the three levels of, you can say, user views. So this three schema architecture actually is defined at these three levels. So first advantage is the users, like for example, external user is there or clerks are there at the bank. They need not worry about how the programs are written or which SQL statements are generated. So this is how they will be able to see the data of their interest only. And second is program data independence, in the sense, suppose you have created this application. Now tomorrow you thought of upgrading the application, that is, you want to just modify the external level or the external view, that is this view. So in that case, you need not disturb these other two levels of data, that is the internal level, conceptual and internal level or physical level data. You can just modify the external level or the interface related things without affecting the other two. So this is called as program data independence. The programs are written at different levels and data is stored at different levels. And Even your interface design lies at different levels. So each of them can be independently modified without affecting the other. So this independence helps in independently modifying the different levels. So this is very, very important advantage what this 3 schema architecture has given to database management system. So this was the intention. So whenever you are asked for 5 marks, 3 schema architecture, explain 3 schema architecture. So first thing you will do is you will draw this diagram. I hope all of you can see the screen here. Yes, raise your hands if you can see.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you can see it is very, very simple diagram, but it should be correctly drawn. The shapes are important. You cannot draw any other shape here, particularly this bottom level. You can see the databases are always shown in cylindrical manner. Don't make it oval or a square or rectangle there. It should be like that only. So the database, stored database lies at the bottom here. You can see. Now, wherever the data is stored in the table or database internally, this is called as internal schema. Fine. And this level, data model levels are also related to this. So this internal schema, schema means structure. So 3 schema means the structure is, it differs or it is bifurcated into 3 different types. So internal schema defines the storage structures for the data. Second lies the conceptual schema. Conceptual schema, this is where the database design happens. Fine. So conceptual schema. Don't worry about this internal here because it will confuse again. Fine. And mapping also will discuss later. Then lies the external view. Fine. So this external level, this is the conceptual level, and this is the external level. So external level is very close to the end users. You can see end users are shown in the form of the stick figure. In between you have external to conceptual mapping and here conceptual to internal mapping. Fine. What is that mapping that we'll discuss now? So the diagram is clear to you. So first thing you'll draw the diagram and then you will discuss about this. You'll write about this 3 schema architecture. Fine. The goal of the 3 schema architecture is to separate user applications and physical database. Then in this architecture, schemas can be defined at the following 3 levels. Which are the 3 levels the schema is defined? Internal schema. It lies at the internal level to describe physical storage structures and access paths. Typically uses a physical data model. So you learn three levels of data model. So internal schema uses physical data model. Then comes conceptual schema. It lies at the conceptual level to describe the structure and constraints for the whole database. Now, last time in the practical session, we have seen structure related commands which lie at the category of DDL. DDL commands are create, alter, and draw. Out of this, we have learned only create. So when we create the table, we are creating only the structure of the table, not the data actually. So actual data is added using insert statement. Fine. So anyways, so conceptual level describes the structure and constraints for the whole database for a community of users. Fine. Uses a conceptual or implementational data model. Then comes external schema to describe various user views. Here, this schema should be attractive or it should be more user friendly as the user group may not be technically well versed. Now, when all these 3 levels of schema are defined, there should be some translation between this schema. In the sense what? Okay, now imagine you are a Gmail user or your parents are Gmail users. Fine. Suppose the parents lie at the external view here. So I'll just write here external, only the shortcut. So this is the external view. Now at the middle you have the conceptual, or at the conceptual I'll write SQL. SQL statements are generated. Fine. And then at the internal level you have your data stored. So SQL, these are the commands here, but actual data gets stored inside. So now suppose your father has to check his emails. So he will give a command to view his emails. So what is the command to see the records? Inserted record, does anyone remember?
Commit.
No, that is to save. If I want to see the records, select
Select columns.
from table name, isn't it? So imagine your father's emails are stored here in a table called as mails. Your father's mails are stored here. Where exactly? Here. So let me just mark that location here. They are stored here in the form of some table. Fine. The data is stored randomly. But then to fetch that data in the form of table, here we have defined, or those Gmail developers have defined the table here. And now that table mail lies, the table is defined here, but the data goes there. So when your father wants to check emails, what he will see in the Gmail, he will see some kind of a structure like this, isn't it? He will see a nice interface. Once he gives his username and password, he will see a kind of table here, and that table will have rows and columns, wherein your sender's name will be there, and then maybe the titles will be there, like that. So whenever your father has to see, he will just log in and automatically that inbox is visible to him. Internally, how this data is fetched, from where it is fetched from this level. But your father has given, he has not typed any command. He just clicked on a username and password, or he must have clicked on the inbox. So clicking on the inbox generates one SQL statement in the background automatically. Each of this button is associated with some commands. So just clicking on inbox will generate one SQL statement here. Which SQL statement is generated? It is generated as select star from mail. Select star indicates all the records, all the rows from mails. Mails means the table mails. Fine. This command is generated at this level, where at the conceptual level. Fine. From the conceptual level, when the command goes, it will actually be taken here. So the data is stored at the internal level. So when the command is given, the internal level will give the data. Now this data will come here at the conceptual level. Conceptual level data, again, it will be shown to user in some fancy terms, like it will be shown in the form of a GUI, maybe in the colorful manner, or in some rows, columns, properly, systematically. So actually your data structure is so stored in very rough manner. Then as you have seen, in case of database, actual commands are generated in the form of CLI. CLI is command line interface. So it's not very attractive. Only programmer will be able to understand these commands here at the middle level. So in process of viewing your email or checking your mails, the command has gone from the external level. It came to your internal, that is middle level, conceptual. From here, the SQL command got generated. That command automatically indicated your database, which is stored at the internal level, to give the required data. When your father logs on and clicks on inbox, he will not see even your mother's mails there. I mean, he will see only his inbox. How does it become possible? Actually, in case of your memory or a kind of Gmail structure, millions of users' mails are stored or dumped there. They are not, there are no physical rooms there. There are not separate rooms for everybody's mail. All mails will be there combinedly stored. But automatically, when that whichever data whenever SQL command gets generated for a particular user, that data which is randomly stored there, only the selected data will be fetched at the middle level. Then from the middle level, again the beautification occurs. That means a kind of transformation to the data presentation occurs, and it will be presented in a user-friendly manner or attractive manner to the external user. So what happens when the entire command gets generated? Your command is traveling through all the three levels, or data also travels through all the three levels. But the command gets translated. That command user will not be able to type SQL select star. Even you people, in spite of teaching you people, still you are not comfortable with that SQL syntax, isn't it? What about those people? N number of people who are using different email, or you can say web-based applications now. They will not know SQL statement, isn't it? And it's very kind of impractical to expect them to know all these syntaxes and all. So they will give commands in their own language. Nowadays, at least this one processing is so modified. You just tell your Google Assistant to generate some command, check my email, and then Google Assistant indirectly, that clicking on the inbox automatically happens. And then that will be translated to the SQL statement. SQL statement in turn translates it into the command, which is understandable by the internal level. So each of these levels automatically translates the command into the language which is understandable at that particular level. And when the data is given, it is not given in very attractive manner. It comes to the conceptual level. From conceptual level, when it is brought to the external level, the data will be translated into the attractive table and rows format, and it will be presented to the user. For example, your father. Clear with that? So this translation between different schema is called as mapping. So what is mapping? Mapping is nothing but conversion from one schema to another schema. The data conversion that occurs from one schema level to another. So mapping among schema levels are needed to transform request and data. The request travels from external level to the internal level, and the data travels from internal level through the conceptual and then comes to the external level. Fine. Programs refer to the external schema and are mapped by the DBMS to internal schema for execution. So this is the definition of mapping. Again, this mapping is of two types. What is that? Let's understand through the diagram. So here you can see there is a mapping, one mapping that takes place between the external level to the conceptual level. That's why you can see in the diagram here. You are not supposed to neglect this part. In the exam, you are supposed to even draw this or write this, mention. In between the external and conceptual level, you have external to conceptual mapping. And then in between the conceptual and internal level, you have conceptual to internal mapping. So it happens in vice versa. That's why here you can see the connected arrows, the arrowheads are shown in both the directions. Why both the directions? Because it is two-way transformation. When the request comes from the external user, the request is transformed, or you can say it is passed on from the external towards conceptual and from conceptual towards internal. When the request is processed at the internal level, the data will be fetched, and that time the data travels in a reverse direction. That is from internal to conceptual and then from conceptual to external. So that's why the arrowheads are shown in both the directions. Clear? So this is how you should draw the diagram and also mention this mappings here. So this covers your 5 marks important question. Any doubt here? Are the things clear to you? Yes, raise your hand at least. Is everyone awake?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
we had a dark class till 12:35.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to message, and even I asked these people.
Actually, you couldn't take the class because Java class
There was
ended late, right?
Java class.
Java class ended late for 5 to 10 minutes, so he had to postpone his class. So he took till 12:35.
Okay, okay. In such case, now parallelly you keep message me so that I'll be aware.
Ma'am, I had texted you, but you didn't see it.
Okay, okay. Sorry. Anyways, I was just feeling I waited till 10-15 minutes to start because the strength was very less. I guess that. I had even messaged Prakasa, but somehow I didn't check your mail. Anyways, fine. I have not covered much actually. I just covered this 5 marks question. That's all. Fine. Let's go ahead. Okay. So there will be one more related question with this. When we have seen that the main intention of providing three schema architecture is to provide program data independence. So what do you mean by this data independence? I have told you in summary that the three levels or the design or the data at the three levels can be modified independently without affecting the other two levels. This is called as data independence. So there are this data independence is being divided into two parts. This is normally asked for 2 marks. Again, it is a frequently asked question. What is data independence? Or they ask specifically what is logical data independence and what is physical data independence. So what is physical data independence? Let us understand first. The capacity to change the internal schema without having to change the conceptual schema. That means, as I told you in the previous diagrams, I mean previous explanations here using annotations, the three levels are there. The physical data lies at the internal level. So the capacity to change the internal schema without having to change the conceptual. So without affecting the middle level, the inner level can be modified. This is called as physical data independence. And then what is logical data independence? The capacity to change the conceptual schema. Conceptual means the one which lies at the middle. Fine, design level. The capacity to change the conceptual schema without having to change the external schema. So without affecting user level GUIs, you can modify the table structure even when the application is already hosted sometimes. I mean, fine, to some extent, it can be modified independently. So this, the capacity to change the conceptual schema without having to change the external schema and their application programs, this is called a logical and data independence. I hope it is clear to you. What is data independence?
Ma'am,
Huh?
ma'am, I didn't get what is data independence.
Yeah, data independence means actually it is not only the data, it refers to even the program as well as data. Your data lies here at the internal level. Look at the annotations which I'm trying to mark. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Although I have not labeled those. So your data lies here at the internal level. Your DBMS is, I mean, programs are written here. Your user is giving commands through here. Fine. Now all these three levels have been defined, or while writing programs, while developing the software, the development of these three levels is being done independently. So suppose you have to just modify the GUI. Last time I had given you one example that suppose the front end and back end. So I suppose my backend is Oracle only, but front end I want to change. Earlier it was Visual Basic and now I want to modify it to Java Swings. I can do it without affecting the database which is there stored in Oracle. I can do that very well without changing the internal or middle level. This is called as data independence. That means independently the data at any level can be modified without affecting the data that lies at other two levels. This is called as data independence. Same thing can happen vice versa. You can modify the tables without affecting this. Like last time I had given you example. For my MCA project, I had to modify my backend. Earlier I had used MS Access, but then those people said it is not allowed. So I changed my backend from MS Access to SQL Server. But my external views need not be modified. I had to just change few of the connectivity programs, and then only the database had to be imported. Even that importing was very easy. So I could modify the middle level without affecting the other two levels. So this is called as data independence. Clear? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Give your attendance. The time is about to end.